Have you ever met someone who seems to have everything? A successful career, a beautiful home, financial security, the respect of others, and yet there's no genuine smile on their face. Now think about someone else, someone who owns very little, no luxury, no fame, no impressive achievements, and yet they seem calm. They smile often. They find joy in the smallest moments of life. Why is that? How can one person have everything and still feel empty, while another has almost nothing and still feel at peace? Is happiness really a matter of luck? Or have we been searching for it in the wrong places our entire lives? From the moment we're children, we're taught the same story. Get good grades and you'll be happy. Find a great job and life will finally make sense. Earn more money and everything will fall into place. We grow up believing these promises, so we spend years chasing one goal after another. We finish school, we graduate from college, we land the job, we get promoted, we buy the latest phone, then a nicer car. Eventually, maybe even our dream home. For a brief moment, it feels incredible, like we finally made it. But only days later, something changes. A quiet voice appears inside our minds. I need something more. Another goal, another achievement, another dream, and before we realize it, we're running again. The strange part is, the race never seems to end. Take a moment and ask yourself, when was the last time you felt truly peaceful, without needing a reason? When was the last time you woke up, looked outside, and simply felt grateful to be alive? Not because something amazing happened, but simply because today was another chance to live. For many people, it's been a very long time, because today we don't experience happiness, we chase it. We tell ourselves, once I make more money, once I'm more successful, once people admire me, once I finally have everything I've ever wanted, then I'll be happy. But there's a problem with that way of thinking. If your happiness always depends on something waiting for you in the future, you'll never truly experience the present. Your entire life becomes a waiting room. When I get the promotion, when I buy the house, when people finally respect me, but that day never truly arrives, because the moment one dream becomes reality, the mind quietly creates another. That's simply how the human brain works. It adapts faster than we realize. Remember the phone you couldn't stop thinking about? The one you spent months saving for? A week later, it became just another phone. Remember the job you worked so hard to get? Only a few months later, it became your normal routine. Remember the house you once dreamed about? Eventually, it simply became the place you live. We believe possessions will make us permanently happy, but in reality, they only give us temporary excitement. And excitement is not the same as happiness. Fireworks light up the sky for only a few seconds. The sun rises every single morning. Excitement is like fireworks. True happiness is like the sun, quiet, steady, always there. The problem is, modern life has trained us to crave fireworks. Every day, there's another viral video, another breaking headline, another notification, another product to buy, another person to compare ourselves with, another reason to believe what we already have isn't enough. Without realizing it, our minds become addicted to wanting more. And when your mind is constantly chasing what's next, it loses the ability to appreciate what's here. Imagine you're walking across a desert. Far away, you see water, you begin to run faster and faster, but no matter how hard you chase it, the water keeps moving farther away, until finally, you realize it was only a mirage. Many of our dreams work the same way. We tell ourselves, once I have that, I'll finally be happy. But the moment we get it, our minds begin searching for something else. That's why some of the most successful people in the world still struggle with loneliness, still battle anxiety, still lie awake at night wondering why they don't feel fulfilled. And at the same time, there are ordinary people with ordinary lives who sleep peacefully because they've discovered something money can never buy. Real happiness doesn't live inside a bank account. It doesn't depend on applause. It doesn't come from status or from being admired by strangers. It begins somewhere far quieter, somewhere most people rarely look, inside your own mind. Now, let me ask you something. What is one thing in your life that was once your biggest dream? Maybe it was landing your dream job, maybe it was buying your own house, maybe it was finally owning that expensive phone you've always wanted. Now ask yourself another question. Does that same thing still bring you the same excitement today? Probably not. And that's where one of the greatest truths about human nature begins. Most of us believe we're unhappy because we don't have enough, but that's not the real problem. The real problem is that the human mind adapts. Imagine you buy a brand new car today. On the first day, you can't stop looking at it. You take pictures, you show it to your friends. It feels like one of the biggest achievements of your life, but what happens a month later? It's just your car, nothing more. And before long, your eyes begin searching for a newer model, a more expensive one, a better one. This isn't because you're a bad person, it's simply how the human brain works. For thousands of years, this instinct helped us survive. If our ancestors had been completely satisfied with what they already had, they might never have searched for food, built shelters, or discovered new ways to survive. The desire for more once helped humanity grow, but in today's world, that same instinct has become one of the biggest reasons we struggle to find peace. Because now, we're surrounded by endless temptation. The moment you open your phone, you see someone moving into a new house, someone buying a luxury car, someone traveling the world, someone building a successful business, someone living what looks like the perfect life. Deep down, you already know that social media only shows the highlights, not the struggles, not the failures, not the lonely nights, and yet your mind begins to compare. They have it. I don't. That single thought can slowly steal your peace without you even noticing. The most dangerous part is this: you may not actually hate your own life, you simply begin to believe it's not enough, because you're constantly measuring it against someone else's. Think about it. If you were the only person on earth, no social media, no endless scrolling, no comparisons, would you still feel the same level of unhappiness? Probably not, because many of our emotional struggles don't come from reality, they come from comparison. One person can earn $50,000 a year and genuinely enjoy life. Another person can make 10 times that amount and still lie awake every night feeling empty, because happiness has never been measured by income. It's measured by perspective. Today, we live in a world where people compare their real lives to someone else's highlight reel. It's like judging your entire life against a movie trailer. It was never a fair comparison. The truth is, every single person is fighting a battle you cannot see. The person who always smiles may cry when no one is watching. The person who looks strong may be hiding fear every single day. The person whose life seems perfect may secretly feel more lost than anyone else. That's why comparing your life to someone else's means comparing your reality to an incomplete story. And we make that mistake every single day. Have you ever noticed something else? We often tell ourselves, once I become more successful, then I'll finally be proud of myself. But here's the problem. If you don't learn to value who you are today, success won't magically change that tomorrow, because self-respect isn't a reward, it's a habit. If you spend today believing you're not enough, your mind will find another reason to feel the same tomorrow, even after you achieve everything you once dreamed of. That's how people spend an entire lifetime fighting themselves. The greatest enemy of happiness isn't sadness, it's the feeling that nothing is ever enough. That feeling quietly steals your ability to appreciate everything you've already achieved. Before you can celebrate one accomplishment, your mind has already moved on to the next goal. There's nothing wrong with having dreams. There's nothing wrong with wanting to grow. There's nothing wrong with chasing success. But the moment you tie your happiness into every future achievement, you lose the ability to enjoy the life you're living today. Learn to become happy before you become successful, because the person who already knows how to be happy will know how to enjoy success. But the person who spends life chasing success alone will often discover another kind of emptiness, even after reaching the top. So today, make one small decision. At least once every day, ask yourself this question, not what do I still not have? Instead, ask, What do I have today that the version of me 5 years ago would have been deeply grateful for? Maybe it's your family, maybe it's your health, maybe it's having a safe place to sleep, maybe it's the opportunity to learn, maybe it's simply another morning and another chance to begin again. The moment you start asking that question, your perspective begins to change, because happiness is never created by what you don't have. It begins when you finally learn to see the value of what has been in front of you all along, and that's where true freedom begins. Now imagine this. You wake up in the morning, sunlight pours through your window, a brand new day has begun. But within just a few minutes of opening your eyes, your mind starts talking. What if I don't do well today? What if people judge me? Am I really good enough? What if I fail again? Have you noticed something at that moment? Nothing has actually happened. Nothing has gone wrong. No one has criticized you. No failure has taken place. And yet, your body reacts as if everything is already falling apart. Your heart starts beating faster. Your mind becomes restless. Fear begins to grow. Anxiety quietly takes over. This is one of the greatest battles every human being faces. Most of the time, we're not fighting reality. We're fighting the stories our own minds create. A situation doesn't always hurt you. Your interpretation of that situation does. Imagine this. You send someone a message. Hours pass and they don't reply. That's all that happened. A simple delay, but then your mind gets to work. Maybe they don't like me anymore. Maybe I said something wrong. Maybe I'm not important enough. Within minutes, your mind has written an entire story. A story with no evidence, no facts, just assumptions. And the strange part is, we often believe those stories without questioning them. Think about how many conversations you have with yourself every single day. Now ask yourself, what kind of conversations are they? When something doesn't go as planned, it's easy for your mind to jump to the worst possible conclusion. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'll never succeed. Maybe this just isn't meant for me. The more often those thoughts repeat, the more believable they begin to feel. But here's something important to remember. Not every thought deserves your trust. Some thoughts are born from fear. Some come from painful experiences you've never fully let go of. Others are nothing more than imagined scenarios that never become reality. The next time your mind says, I can't do this, pause for a moment, then ask yourself one simple question. Is this actually true, or is this just fear speaking? That one question has the power to completely change your perspective. Many of us don't realize it, but some of the loudest voices inside our heads aren't even our own. Maybe someone once made you feel like you weren't good enough. Maybe you experienced failure years ago. Maybe someone doubted your dreams. Time passed, but the memory stayed. Now every time you face something new, that old voice returns. You're going to fail. You're not capable. Don't even try. But ask yourself this, is that voice really yours, or is it simply an echo from your past? Far too often, we allow yesterday's pain to make today's decisions. We avoid opportunities because we once failed. We hesitate to trust again because someone once broke our heart. We lower our own expectations because someone else never believed in us. Little by little, the past begins controlling the present. But here's the truth. The past has no power unless you continue giving it power. Every belief you accept shapes the way you experience life. If you keep believing every negative thought your mind creates, those thoughts slowly become your reality. But the moment you decide, I will no longer believe every thought that enters my mind, everything begins to change. The next time your mind whispers, I can't, ask, is that a fact or just fear? The next time it says, everything is over, ask, or is this simply a difficult chapter? Because the moment you begin questioning your thoughts, you stop being controlled by them. Never forget this, you are not your thoughts, you are the one observing them. Just as the sky is not the clouds, you are not your fear. Clouds come and clouds go. Thoughts do the same, but we often make the mistake of treating every passing thought as permanent truth, and that's where suffering begins. The strongest people aren't those who never experience negative thoughts. They're the ones who refuse to let those thoughts define them, because the mind can lie. It can make fear look like certainty. It can make failure feel permanent. It can convince you that one difficult moment defines your entire life. So starting today, build one simple habit. Whenever a negative thought appears, don't accept it immediately. Pause, observe it, question it, because many of the prisons we live inside were never built from reality. They were built from unquestioned beliefs. And the moment you begin challenging those beliefs, you also begin setting yourself free. So where does real happiness begin? It doesn't begin the day you become rich. It doesn't begin when everyone finally admires you. It doesn't begin when life becomes perfect, because that day may never come. Real happiness begins the moment you stop waiting for life to be perfect. Think about it. Most of us spend years believing that happiness is something we'll earn someday, after the promotion, after the new house, after the relationship, after the success, after everything finally falls into place. But life has a way of reminding us there will always be another mountain to climb, another problem to solve, another goal to chase. If your happiness depends on reaching the next destination, you spend your entire life running without ever feeling like you've arrived. That's why happiness cannot be a reward. It has to become a decision you make every single day. You don't wake up happy because everything is perfect. You wake up happy because you've chosen not to let imperfection steal your peace. That doesn't mean life will suddenly become easy. There will still be disappointments. People will misunderstand you. Some plans will fail. Some doors will close. You'll lose things you thought would last forever. You'll face moments that test your strength, but none of those moments have the power to decide who you become. Only you do. Every morning, your life asks you the same question. What will you choose today? Will you choose gratitude or endless comparison? Will you choose peace or constant worry? Will you choose growth or fear? No one else can answer those questions for you, because your mind is your responsibility. The world will always try to tell you what you need in order to be happy. A bigger house, a better salary, more followers, more attention, more recognition. But if your happiness always depends on something outside of you, someone else will always have the power to take it away. Real freedom begins when your peace no longer depends on circumstances, when your confidence no longer depends on applause, when your self-worth no longer depends on someone else's opinion. That's the moment you stop becoming a prisoner of the world and start becoming the master of your own mind. Remember, every day you have two choices. You can spend another day chasing happiness, or you can start creating it. Not by changing everything around you, but by changing the way you see what's already there. Because happiness has never been hiding in the future. It has always been waiting in this moment, in your thoughts, in your perspective, in the choices you make every single day. One day, your life will come to an end. Your achievements, your possessions, your titles, they'll all stay behind. The only question that will truly matter is this: did you spend your life chasing happiness, or did you choose to live it? So before this day ends, make one promise to yourself. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop believing that your life begins after the next achievement. Stop postponing your happiness, because life isn't waiting. Time isn't waiting, and neither should you. Choose gratitude over comparison. Choose courage over fear. Choose peace over endless chasing. And above all, choose yourself. Not tomorrow, not next year, today. Because happiness isn't something you find. It isn't something you buy. It isn't something the world gives you. Happiness is a choice. And that choice has always been yours. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might need these words today. Until next time, take care of your mind, because when you learn to master your mind, you begin to master your life.